I did a show called The Gifted, which was an X-Men show on Fox, right? If I had been feeding in data, right? If I'd been feeding those scripts in, that was long before, AI was really a thing. But let's say I'd been feeding those scripts in. It would be able to discern certain aspects of the show. It would be able to understand, okay, this person talks this way. Matt, when he writes, overuses ellipses. Like I use a lot of ellipses, right? So, and writers make fun of me for it, but I'm sure ChatGPT or any LLM would do a great job of imitating my uses of ellipses and dashes, right? Or even knowing basically how long my scenes are, which is, that's a thing. But the question really is, how useful is that, given the fact that if you're doing a creative project that has any legitimate creative life, it's evolving as you go. Right? And it's also, in the case of what Mark and I are doing, it's evolving a lot in response to notes and priorities from a network and stuff like that. So in the first season of The Gifted, there was a whole set of things that they were trying to, that the network wanted from the show in terms of what do the superheroes do and stuff like that. In the second season, This Is Us was a very popular show. And Fox really wanted everything to be This Is Us. Like literally everything should be This Is Us now. And so I was like, but I don't really know that it's a good idea to do a superhero show that's where the goal is to make everybody cry. And they were like, shut up, it's This Is Us. And I was like, okay, right? And if you want to go back and watch the second season of The Gifted, you will see a lot of things that This Is Us did, right? Now, when I think about how would I have used LLMs in that time, what did I actually do? I sat down with multiple episodes of This Is Us. I abstracted them using Microsoft Excel. I figured out the math of a This Is Us episode. I called the creator of This Is Us and said, hey, can I take you out to breakfast and talk you through how I think you write a This Is Us episode? He said, sure, that sounds like fun. And so I talked him through the math of a This Is Us, and he was like, yeah, you missed this. I was like, thank you very much. Can I use all of this on my show? It's a superhero show. No one will ever know. I just told all of you, but... And he was like, sure, no, who cared? And like, he was like, pitch me your story. He was like, he had some notes, and then I went in and they were like, that's so great, it's just like This Is Us. I was like, I know, right? But now I could, I would probably still do the Excel part of that. I'd probably still break down This Is Us using that. But it would be a lot simpler, and I could probably get more granular in terms of like, how does the This Is Us work, right? So that would be a really useful analytical tool. But my point is, the problem is now, let's say I feed in all of the information, right? All of the scripts for the first 2 seasons that got canceled after 2 seasons, but let's say we were doing a 3rd season, right? The LLM, I would have to give it a lot of information about like the studio notes and, oh, by the way, that one actor, total pain in the ass. Won't do scenes on Fridays, so we can't put them in anything. Like, this guy has a drug problem. So there's a lot of things that, so if I just trained it on the scripts, it wouldn't know that not to write scenes for those 2 actors who were really close when they were sleeping together and then they broke up and now you can't put them in scenes together. It would just start writing scenes for them and I'd be like, no, don't do that. A lot of calls from agents. So the point is, the creative project, even just, I joke about these things, but it's not just production. The creative project is evolving, right? And the show that it was in the first episode is not the show that it is in the 22nd episode. And training an LLM, it's naturally going to spit out some sort of average of everything you've done, right? So it's not that you couldn't find a way to make it useful, but in terms of, it would only be the most formulaic of shows that would yield easily to creating a formula that always works.
So, is it fair to say that LLMs are conservative creatures? I'm calling them creatures, but I mean, just like in terms of like the way that they're